Go.
What's happening, y'all? It's Ted, watching Mobility TV, live at you from 206.
You know what I mean?
You know, I wake up every day.
Every day.
And thank God.
Yeah. I wake up every day and thank God that I'm here. They gave my pops all that time, he been fighting for years. When you lose the closest to you, ain't no fighting them tears. All I had was my mom when I was stuck on the tears. I'll be loyal to you if you give me something that's real. That's why I can't be the whole team, I ain't signing a deal.
Are you ready? You got it on play?
I got it on play. Look, I got that too. What's up? I got my guy Ted here, you know what I mean, to drop them jewels, you know what I mean? Hey man, you know what? Let's start over again. This is Mobility TV. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Y'all know me. It's Ted, T26, 26 Union Street.
So, Ted, let's start from the beginning. Where were you born at, bro?
I was born in the CD. Raised like most of my adolescence in West Seattle. And the CD. My grandma stayed in the CD. My mom's step-pops moved to the West Seattle. My biological dad stayed in Holly Park. So, whole Seattle.
So, what high schools did you go to? You know, matter of fact, start from what schools did you start? What elementary school did you go to?
I started out with E.C. Hughes, and up to like the 4th grade. Then got kicked out of there and went to Fairmount Park. Then went from Fairmount Park to Denny. Then got kicked out of Denny and went to Mercer. And then went back to the West, went to Chief Sealth. Got kicked out of there like my sophomore year. Then started at Marshall and stayed there for a couple. And then got kicked out there too. And then went and got a GED at Seattle Central.
All right. So, during, I say, like your high school years, what was going on there? What was you doing? What was your, your activities and things of that nature?
I don't know. I was pretty much like the majority of cats in the town around the early '80s, mid '80s. Started out stealing and doing stupid stuff, breaking in stuff, house stuff. You know what I'm saying? Stealing and robbing. Yeah, that was just petty crimes, which led me up to doing other stupid things.
So during the 80s, did you guys get involved in any kind of let's say clubs? Was you involved in any kind of clubs or some kind of
Nah,
crew?
it was crews back then. It was mainly crews. I've been repping the same crew since like '84. 26P, the original 26 Posse, what we used to call it. 26P, 26 and Pine. If y'all know, in the CD, we've been doing it. Started out kind of like a family crew. Some cats that just stayed on the block. My grandma stayed on 26. A few other cats, families, and grandma stayed right there. So we all kind of, about 7 or 8 of us, started out, hanging out in the back streets of a couple blocks off of Union, hanging back there, doing our thing. Couple cats was breakers and pop lockers and things like that. I wasn't no breaker or nothing like that. I used to tag a little bit. But yeah, that's where it kind of got started.
So what were some of the other rival crews that you guys had? Like you guys had to go against? Was it
we didn't really go against no crews really, because we wasn't really into it like that. But some other cats that was I guess more known for some of that, as far as like the breaking and the hip hop thing like that, there was different crews, but there was like tagging crews, bombing crews, there was shop crews, there was just crews, from the South End D-Dubs, from OTBs out to bombs, from J2Cs, on down to the younger cats, JUNs and MOAs and different things of that nature, even from the high point, from the point side, PSGs, it was different crews kind of started to develop, I think, towards the mid to late 80s. Cats started claiming different shit, coming out of the crews into claiming neighborhoods and things of that nature once the Crips and different sets start coming up here from different places. kind of put it a little more territorial.
Okay. I want you to kind of elaborate on that. This question, right? Like, how did you feel, or how did the city turn out when the Crips and Bloods came here? Was it crazy, or did you guys have to adapt real fast, or did it hit you guys
Well,
like unexpectedly?
I think it was different, definitely, because we didn't originally Seattle. We wasn't really raised up on gang banging. It wasn't like no softies or nothing here. No, never been like no sucker town or nothing. But we was more or less raised as Macs and players. The majority of our older siblings and older relatives and things was pimps and players. And Macs and hustlers and things of that nature. So it was more of a Macish town. We was getting that abroad or something of that nature. But once the Crips and things started coming in the mid '80s, it kind of changed the dynamic of things. It put it, like I said, more territorial. So cats started clicking up more, and it kind of brought more of the gangster side out of cats because we had to protect our own and just defend our territory. Because they started coming in trying to claim different streets or different areas. So it kind of changed the dynamics of things.
Because I wanted to say like this, like what crew was you a part of? Did you guys form a crew? Did you guys come together to have a crew that's the anti-Crip? You guys was the anti-Crip, anti-Blood, right?
I mean, to a degree, me myself, I've always been affiliated with all different sets or different individuals, really. But our crew or our street, like I said, I was 2-6, so 26 in Pine originally. 2-6 posse, but it kind of evolved into us clicking up with our affiliates, our brothers from 21st in Union, from Union Street, from 21st Avenue, cats that kind of lived up that way up on 18th and things of that nature and lived on down Union. So we kind of formed an allegiance, with 2-6 and 2-1, and became Union Street Hustlers, because we was more say, not to say some of us wasn't gang bangers, because it was, but we had all different kinds. We had hustlers, some banging. It was just individuals from Union, but we was all hustlers though.
So, because I got here in the '90s, and then when I got here in the '90s, it was a gang called the BGDs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And them guys was thick.
Yeah.
How did what? Because you didn't mention that when you said the Bloods and the Crips and the gangs coming. You didn't mention that gang. When did that hit Seattle?
More say in the early '80s. It started really, and then to the mid '80s, things started to come about. And then to the later '80s, cats started to click up and really started to take hold of the G Nation. But everybody didn't, take hold to that claim. We was more affiliated, but everybody didn't claim that. But I think we more say sided with the G's, more or less, than any other. Some went to the other side. Some became Crips. Some became Bloods. But more say the cats on our side, on the Union side, more of them became G's.
Because it seemed like that particular gang, they just took over. They swarmed Seattle. It wasn't. I don't think in the early '90s when I got here, I don't think it wasn't a more powerful gang than the BGDs.
Well, yeah, they pretty much took over the city. Everybody kind of took hold to that claim. With the under one nation type thing. So that's. I guess that was for the most part, what everybody from Seattle started to take hold to. Not to say everybody, but the majority of cats from different hoods started to claim GDs, BGDs, Black Gangster Disciples at first, but turned, Gangster Disciples.
Shucks. Okay, I want to ask you this too. Do you know who brought those gangs here, like the Crips and the Bloods and in that particular gang, the BGDs? You know who brought that here?
Not specifically. I mean, it was different individuals, that kind of brought their California swag, and different individuals. I can't really pinpoint who exactly, because it was different individuals that was a little older than myself that was from California that was claiming, CC riders, and a couple 60s, But I know I got a couple partners that's a little more in tune with that right there, But I can't say who exactly was the first ones to come up here,
Did you ever frequent downtown Seattle, Ivor's Arcade? Did you go there?
Yeah, I went. I wasn't really a downtown cat really too much. I slide through there periodically. But my younger brothers was more or less the downtown cats. Man, they kind of hung with that downtown. And even my younger sister, they did the downtown thing. I didn't really do that. It was too much going on down there.
Yeah, that's I noticed downtown there was a lot of Bloods down there.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of Bloods. Rest in peace, Lynn Capone. He was definitely a major factor with the Bloods. But he's from here. With his brothers, Stantons. But he was definitely a factor.
Yeah.
He's from Elm. He would claim he was only Elm, only Pyru from Union. But that's just only he could say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's dope, dog. That's awesome. But anyway, back to you, man. So, when you was a youth, and what made you want to be a part of the crew? Was it because of the Crips, or you just wanted to be a part of something?
Nah, it wasn't because of the Crips. Cause I had family and whatnot, friends that was Crips. My older brother was a Crip, Love Jones, rest in peace. But I don't know. It just became this territorial where you was at. You started to kind of, click into wherever you was hanging on a daily. That's just kind of the set or the street or the crew that you kind of were affiliated with. Whoever you kind of mix with on a day to day. Because everybody that claimed a certain hood might not have lived around there. Some cats came from different areas, parts of the city, but they came and that's where they was at on the day to day. So over time, that's just what they became known from, because that's who they hung with, those individuals. And that's where people knew they would see them at, that part of town or that street. So over the time, that's just kind of what it came to be.
So, Ted, after your high school years, what did you get into then? Did you go to college? What did you do? Did you get a job?
Nah, no college. Did a few years college way later years. My younger years, I didn't really do no juvenile time, but once I turned like 18, I started going to jail. Started going to the county, really for like driving charges, 5-6 months at a time, and drug possessions, and then once I turned 20, started going to prison, and that was like 90, all the way through the 90s. I pretty much was in and out, did a couple months out, but years in, every time I get out, I'd be right back in, that was pretty much my whole 20s, and half of my 30s was just in and out of prison, got out like my mid 30s. Basically, the neighborhoods, everything had changed. Our hood, 2-6, had evolved into something I'd never dreamed it would be. Because like I said, it just started out with just a family thing. 7 to 8 of us. But it had evolved into, or morphosized into something, big. A lot bigger than what I had thought. So just getting reacclimated back into the city and back into the neighborhoods. I seen how things was, the dynamics of things had changed. The aspect of the Crips and Bloods and the territorial stuff had switched. You know, it wasn't really like that anymore.
Never got a handout, you better ask a nigga. I'm introverted, I ain't even into liking half these niggas. I went from running from task force to making my task work. I couldn't stack a dollar, invested in bad work. She smell good, that's bad body and bad work. These niggas bite the hands that feed them, they got some damn nerve. Went from the curb to the trap, from the trap to the booth, from the booth to my boo. Yeah, I'm living cool. I'm breaking down all these bells in my living room. I know my dad used to pray I wouldn't bump into him. I told him hold his head, you know your son good. I'm so loyal to you, we from the same hood, don't smoke wood.